So today I'm going to tell you about the M.I.N.D diet. All right, so what does that stand for? Mediterranean and Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. All right, so that's why we call it the M.I.N.D diet, because who can remember all that, right? It's for the brain and really the whole body. So if you take care of your brain, then you're taking care of everything else too. Not just because it controls everything, but because what it takes to take care of the brain really well is the same things it takes to take care of the body really well. So what I've done is come up with a handout for you. We'll give you this paper and so you can see it better. And so there's checklists. The first page is checklist. So the first column here lists the different foods. And the second column lists the number of times per week. So let's take, for example, it says sweets, sweet desserts, soda-like drinks, drinks with sugar, 0 to 1 time a week. How often should you have them? 0 to once per week. So if you have 0, that's great. If you have it once, that's okay. And then the next column is a little check box, and you could use that just a way to check off that for a week. Just a way to keep track of it. You can make copies of this and use it over, or make your own little chart. The second one is fish, sardines, herring, mackerel, salmon. It could also be cod or halibut. Really, it's the cold water fish that are best, but fish. It says 2 plus. That means 2 or more times per week. So what if you have it 4 times a week? That's great. What if you have it 2 times a week? That's adequate. What if you have it 1 time a week? That's not adequate, right, to fulfill the M.I.N.D diet. Then poultry, grass-fed red meat, free-range eggs, 2 or more times a week. So those are all good stuff to have every day if you want. Non-grass-fed red meat and meat products. That is less than 4 times per week. All right, okay. That you can still have it a few times a week. That would be okay. Non-grass-fed dairy like cheese, butter, margarine. That's less than 1 time a week. Well, that sounds like 0, doesn't it? Well, yeah, I mean, maybe you could have a half a serving a week. Really, this is considered poor to do, so don't do that. Grass-fed dairy, cheese or butter, less than 5 times a week, because that's going to be better for you. So it's okay to have that more often. Legumes, which is beans, peas, lentils, 4 or more times a week. Right? Olives, nuts, seeds, 5 or more times a week. Herbs, garlic, and olives, nuts, and seeds. Herbs, garlic, and onions, 4 or more times a week. Berries, or tomatoes or peppers, they have a lot of the same properties, 2 or more times a week, so at least twice a week. Green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, chard, and things like that, 6 or more times a week. This is really important to have all the time. Other vegetables, 7 days a week. Those are really important to have all the time. All right, other vegetable, olive oil. The main oil you use is olive oil in this diet. That means you can use coconut or avocado or other oils, but the main oil should be olive oil. Fast food, less than 1 time a week. That means 0 or maybe once every couple weeks. Eat while sitting around socializing with family or friends, 4 or more times a week. So we all tend to eat on the rush, or if we can, you just do what you can on this, right? So if you live alone, you can't eat with people 4 times a week, perhaps. But if you can, then you should, because it's beneficial. Water, 30% of your weight in ounces. So for example, if you weigh 150 pounds, 30% of that is going to be approximately 50 ounces. Right? So 50 ounces of water a day. Red wine, 0 to 1 glass a day. So red wine is fine. It's good. You don't have to have any, but 1 a day can be okay. The form of food should usually be whole, organic, naturally raised, unprocessed, local, and in season. These are the foods that are most likely to be most beneficial for you. All right, and then the next page is we have a checklist. So the checklist, so we'll give you you can look at that. It's a close-up. All right, so the checklist is an example. No, sorry, that's not a checklist. This was the checklist. All right, we just went through it. This one is an example of an eating plan. 7 days applying these principles of the checklist to an exact eating plan. You don't have to eat this exact eating plan, but this gives you an example of what an exact eating plan would look like for somebody who weighs maybe 170 pounds, right? So if you're a lot smaller, then you would eat a lot smaller quantities than this. If you're bigger and fit, then you would eat more than this. If you're more active, et cetera, right? There's also, so this is actually the shopping list for the meal program. Okay, so the meal program, it lists the amounts of carbs and amounts of proteins, if that's something that can be helpful for you. So people who are diabetic need to have lower carbs, obviously, even that's on this plan, so it gives you an idea of exactly how much is in them. But this is the example. What I want you to do is at least follow this checklist. Okay? Build your meals thinking of those things in mind. You're not going to get it perfect. Don't try to get it perfect. Well, yeah, do try to get it perfect, but don't freak out if you don't. Do your best, and as long as you're getting close to that target, sometimes you'll be perfect, sometimes you'll be off. If most often you are pretty close to that, then you're going to be doing really well. Okay? That's the M.I.N.D diet.